Hello everyone, this is Aditi from Privacy Global. Before we begin, let me ask you something. If a regulator walked into your organization tomorrow and asked, "Show me exactly how you process personal data," would you confidently open a document? Or would you start explaining verbally and hope it sounds convincing? Because the moment you rely on explanation instead of documentation, you're already standing on weak ground. And that's exactly what today's module fixes. Welcome to our Data Privacy Awareness series. In our previous module, we spoke about data mapping. We walked through how personal data moves from the moment it's collected to where it's stored and when it's deleted. We saw the journey of data. But here's the shift. Mapping shows movement and ROPA shows accountability. If you have missed this video, please check it out on our YouTube channel. Today, we focus on ROPA, Records of Processing Activity. This is not theory, this is not policy language, this is your compliance evidence. So, what is ROPA? ROPA stands for Record of Processing Activities. In simple terms, it is a structured log of how your organization processes personal data. It's not policies or intentions or assumptions, but actual documented processing. Now, under GDPR Article 30, many organizations are legally required to maintain it. However, under India's DPDP Act, it is not explicitly mandated. But here's the practical reality. If you cannot demonstrate accountability with documentation, your compliance position becomes difficult to defend. So even when ROPA is not mandatory, it becomes a strong operational practice. Think of it like this. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist in compliance terms. Now, why is ROPA important? When a regulator asks why you're collecting this data, who has access to it, how long are you going to keep it, is it shared outside the country? And if your answer sounds like, we think it should be, we believe, that's a compliance red flag. ROPA helps eliminate this uncertainty. It turns verbal explanations into documented proof. It allows you to respond confidently during audits, identify high risk processing, track vendor exposure, map international transfers, and support breach investigation. Without ROPA, compliance only lives in people's head. With it, compliance is written down, structured, and defensible. It's the difference between saying, "I'm sure we're doing it correctly," and saying, "Here is the documented record." Now, let's discuss the key elements of ROPA. So, every ROPA must answer 5 simple questions: who, what, why, where, and how. If any of these 5 are unclear, your processing is incomplete from the compliance perspective. Now, let's break down each element properly. First, the purpose of processing. Now, what does this mean? It means that why are we collecting this data in the first place? For example, the purpose could be a marketing campaign or customer support, payroll processing, or legal compliance. If you cannot clearly define the purpose, you should not be collecting this data. So, purpose drives your legitimacy. Second, we have categories of data subjects. This refers to who are the individuals whose data you're processing. So, these could be your customers, your employees, website visitors, vendors, and many more. Now, different categories may require different safeguards. So, you cannot treat employee data and customer data the same. Next, we have categories of data. This means what type of data you're collecting. For example, names, addresses, financial information, health data, or biometric data. The more sensitive the data is, the higher will be the compliance risk. Then we have the legal basis. This answers the question, On what legal ground are you processing this data? So, examples of legal basis could be consent, or a legal obligation, contractual necessity, or legitimate interest. If there is no clear legal basis, the processing may be unlawful. Then we have cross border transfer. This asks, is the data being transferred to another country? For example, from EU to US or India to another jurisdiction. Cross border transfers trigger additional compliance requirements. The retention period. This answers, how long will you keep the data? 1 year, 5 year, indefinitely? Now, retention must align with purpose, and keeping data just in case is not acceptable. Security safeguards. This answers the questions, how are you going to protect the data? Now, security safeguards will include your encryption, access control, security audits, and employee training. And the security must match the sensitivity of the data. Many organizations also document system names like CRM, HR database, marketing tools, department ownership, like which team is responsible, IT department, HR, marketing. What is the data flow direction? Is it internal? Do vendors have access to it? Are there international transfers? Then there's a processor versus the controller role. And finally, we have risk classification of the activity, low, medium, or high. This elements transforms ROPA from a simple list into a governance framework. Now, let's see this practically. Suppose an employee joins an organization. Their data is entered into the HR system. That data flows into payroll. Payroll is connected to finance. Finance connects to the bank. Now, you need to ask yourself, is this chain clearly documented, or is it just how things work? ROPA is how you ensure that this chain is formally recorded. Now, you need to think carefully. If the HR system processes salaries, who has access to the payroll data? Is it shared with an external vendor? How long is it stored? And what security controls protect it? If these answers are not documented, you don't truly control the process, you just operate it. And this is exactly where ROPA becomes powerful. Because once these answers are written inside a structured ROPA entry, you move from assumption to accountability. And that's the difference between being operational and being compliant. Now, many teams confuse ROPA with data inventory, but they are not the same. Data inventory answers, what data do we have and where is it stored? And ROPA answers, how is the data processed, by whom, and for what purpose? Inventory shows the landscape, and ROPA shows the activity happening inside that landscape. And when we see it together, they create an operational visibility. But what does this mean? It means that you don't just know where the data exists, you understand how it is being used, who has access to it, why it exists, and where is it going. This clarity reduces blind spots, which helps to become DPDP compliant. Let's go through the example of payroll. Imagine this is your ROPA sheet in Excel. Each column represents one compliance question. The first column is processing. This tells us the name of the activity. In this case, it is payroll. The second column is purpose. This answers, why does this processing exist? So, since this is payroll, the answer here will be salary payments. The third column is subject. So, who is this data about? The answer is employees. The fourth column is data. Now, what type of data is being used? So, the answer is name and bank details. Now, why name and bank details? Because to pay salary, you need to identify your identity, and your account number. The next column is recipients. Who receives this data? So, this will be the bank and the finance team. Now, if the data is shared with the bank, that must be documented. So, our next column will be retention. Now, the answer here is 7 years. Now, why 7? Because payroll records are often legally required to be retained for tax and audit purposes. And the last column here is security measures, where we have encryption and access control. Why? Because bank details are sensitive financial data. Now imagine this sheet is missing one of these columns. That gap becomes your compliance weakness. And here's the key takeaway: this is just an Excel sheet. ROPA does not require expensive software, only clarity and discipline. So, what happens if you don't have a ROPA? Let's consider a real world scenario. Suppose an e-commerce company receives complaints about misuse of customer emails, and the regulator asks for the ROPA, but they don't have one. They cannot explain which team used the data, which vendor received it, and what purpose justified the processing. The result? DPDP penalties. The issue here isn't just misuse, it was the lack of documentation. When you cannot demonstrate control, regulators will assume that there is none. So, who needs ROPA? Before we answer this question, let's understand why it matters. Now, many organizations believe that ROPA is only for large MNCs, but that is not accurate. So, under GDPR, organizations with 250 plus employees must maintain ROPA. Smaller organizations will also need to maintain it if they process sensitive data or high risk data at a large scale monitoring. Now, in India, the DPDP Act does not explicitly mandate ROPA, but here's the practical truth. If you are investigated or audited or questioned, ROPA documentation becomes your strongest defense. So, while it is not mandatory, ROPA is a smart and proactive compliance practice, because as your organization will grow, the verbal explanation will stop working and documentation becomes essential. So, let's summarize clearly. ROPA records how and why personal data is processed, and it may not be mandatory under DPDP, but maintaining one strengthens accountability, reduces your compliance risk, and prepares you for audit. In our next module, we will move to privacy by design and privacy by default, where compliance shifts from documentation to system architecture. Until then, ask yourselves, if regulators knock tomorrow, can you show them your ROPA? If not, it is time to build one. In our next module, we move to privacy by design and privacy by default, where compliance shifts from documentation to system architecture. Until then, ask yourself, if regulators knock tomorrow, can you show them your ROPA? If not, it's time to build one. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel.